Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? My name is Rob Carmona, and welcome back to another episode of Rob the Mic. And first and foremost, I wanted to wish you guys a very, very happy new year. And I hope you guys had a great time celebrating it. You had a great holiday season. Now that things have come to an end, we're all trying to figure out how to just kind of navigate life, get back to work, get back to all the things that we were doing before the holidays. And it's been a bit of an adjustment, I would say. It feels I don't know, it feels kind of weird. And I'm sure a lot of you are in the same boat, right? Like I know a lot of people are going back to work, trying to get their schedules back on, figure out stuff with kids and when they're going back to school and everything like that. So it's a little hectic right now. I always think the beginning of the year is a hectic time. But I also think it's a really great time because we're starting to set our intentions, we're starting to figure things out for ourselves, what it is that we need, what it is that we want, and kind of be hyper aware of all of that. But what I also think with setting up the new year, I think it causes us to reflect. And I know for myself, at least the last few days, even on like New Year's Eve, I was definitely reflecting a lot. And, New Year's Eve, or I guess like the weekend coming into New Year's Eve, I was just trying to gauge what I was going to do, what was going on, how I was going to feel about everything, because I haven't really felt too much of a holiday spirit this year. And I know a few people have told me the same, that, Christmas didn't feel like Christmas. Thanksgiving even didn't really feel like Thanksgiving. It was just all of a sudden, it was that day. So it's like I understood that. I completely understood that. That's kind of how my Christmas season went. That's kind of how New Year's, Thanksgiving, all of it. It's all just felt like, oh my God, it's today. And I got to do something about it. And it kind of bums me out because it didn't used to feel like that. But I also think as we get older and as we experience things, it's like the glitz and glamour kind of goes away. And I'm not saying that it goes away forever because I know at some point, hopefully soon, maybe even next year for next holiday season, it'll be different. Trying to stay positive, trying to do certain things. It's really tough. It's really tough when you're not in the best of mental states and you're really not in the best of all places, because it's like we've talked about on the show before, right? Like it gets so tiring to have to pretend and have to act like you're okay and act like things are okay when they're clearly not okay and you're not okay, right? And it's okay to not be okay, but it's still really difficult to have to manage and push and move through these things when you're in that mental state. So New Year's Eve, I actually spent it with Albert and Yessie, which was really great. Just hanging out with them at the house. We went to go get breakfast at Mimi's. Albert wanted to get brunch, so we got some mimosa flights. And it was cool. Like we chilled out, we laughed, we had a really, really great like first part of the day. And just hanging out at the house, just laughing, listening to music. We set up, he has this like really dope Wi-Fi speaker from Bose, but it's kind of tricky, to get up and move in, because we used to have it at the shop, and we had a shop in Ontario, and then he hadn't used it since then. So brought it into the house. He hit me up and was like, you know what, dude, I want to set this up in the house. So we were setting that up, got everything going, and it sounds so good. So shouts to Bose for making really badass products. But yeah, we just took it easy. We just hung out, had a good time. And it was funny because I was supposed to have dinner here at my house, like with my family. And that's what we had talked about. I hadn't figured anything out, like what the menu was going to be, but figured it was just going to be something chill, something simple. I ended up coming home. When I got home, I was like, dude, I should have just stayed like with Albert and Yessie, because that was, I guess, like the moment that my year started like kind of on the rough note, because I was by myself. Like everyone just kind of fended for themselves. No one like made dinner or anything. So I ended up making a really bomb pasta for myself. Yeah, it was a dinner for one. I was just chilling out. I put a lot of love into it and it was really, really great. So I'm glad at least that my dinner for myself was yummy. And then I just hung out in my room and watched Yellowstone up until I started to hear a bunch of crazy fireworks. And I was like, all right, well, we're coming up on it, So it felt very disconnected here at my house, like with my family. And it was different. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I didn't like the disconnection. But my year started off a little funky, and New Year's Day was cool. It was cool. You know, I took off to a lowrider cruise because one of the guys that I had posted some pictures of his car, like I had shot his car before, he had hit me up and was like, "Hey, dude, if you're free today, why don't you come out to this cruise?" And there was a ton of cruises going on Monday. But because he hit me up directly, I'm like, "Yeah, you know what, dude? I'll be there. I'll be there. Let me handle some stuff at the house, get my day moving, and then I'll jet down there." Got down there at the perfect time, took a ton of pictures, videos. I was there for, I don't know, probably almost 4 hours, almost. Just chilling at the park, met some really nice people, met the guy who organized that event, which is La Cruda Cruise, which is really cool. And it was great experience overall. So that was really cool. But I've definitely had some bumps since Monday. And I'm like, damn, dude, we're only on day 3. And why are we already having bumps? Why are we having issues? But it's okay. Because in the grand scheme of things, I look at how it's been the last year, and none of that stuff, like nothing of what's happening right now in comparison to what happened, like it's not even comparable. So it's like, well, here's these little bumps, and literally see them as bumps, because just again, with comparing it to last year and some of the stuff that was endured, like, you handled all of that. This is nothing. It's literally just a keep walking situation. But when I was talking with Albert and Yessie on Sunday, we were reflecting a lot. We were talking a lot about the past year and just how difficult it's been. And, you know, I realized that I was probably in the darkest place that I've ever been, like in my adult life. And I didn't like it. You know, I didn't like where I was. I didn't like how I felt. I didn't like the way I dealt with certain things, certain people, the way certain people made me feel. And it's a continuous thing, right? Like this is a journey that I will probably forever be on. I'm hoping that I won't always be in this mental state, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know, but it's tough. I'm trying to push myself out. I'm trying to do certain things. I'm trying to be hyper aware of what I need, you know, but ending up in one of the darkest places and going through, or I guess like the darkest patches, I can say thus far, it was kind of a blessing in disguise, because if it wasn't for that patch, or if it wasn't for having to have faced those things that I did, I probably wouldn't have started therapy. I wouldn't have started self-work. I wouldn't have gone through any of that journey. And I would say the therapy and self-work have definitely stood out the most, because it's what helped me. That's what started to get me to build my toolbox up, because I didn't have one. And that was a big part of the problem, whether it was dealing with a past relationship or an argument, or dealing with family, or dealing with work, or dealing with friendships, anything. I didn't have the tools that I needed. So I never knew really how to handle anything. Were things done a certain way? Yeah, of course. Do I regret anything? No, I don't. But I didn't know. You know, I didn't know any better. So now I would definitely say, because of all of that, I'm very grateful to have ended up in that situation, because again, starting therapy and self-work really put me in a different state of mind. It put me in a different place, like physically. I felt different, like I felt shifted, because I started to learn how to communicate differently, how to listen differently also. Like, not that I was bad at listening before, but I learned how to listen in a different way, and how to be a little more active with that, and to really consider everything around me when I'm listening, and like watch the person, watch their body language, all these things. Like, again, these are just tools, things I already knew of, but when you hear it a certain way, or when someone explains something to you a certain way, it clicks differently. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's where I was at. So the more that I started to research and find out about myself, I was like, okay, cool. All of this is to better me. None of this is going to hinder me at all. Is it going to hurt? Possibly, because therapy's definitely been hard. And it's what's weird about that is it's a very up and down, it's a very roller coaster experience, because you're going to have sessions that are really great. You're going to have sessions that are really tough. You're going to have some that feel like, what was today even about? Because it felt kind of dumb. And you're going to have all these weird moments. But ultimately, when you add it all up, it's like, okay, we still ended up right here. And it all went to something good. So with all of that, I think some of the stuff that I find really important is that I was able to learn about the issues and things that I deal with, and like how to face them, because I just didn't know. There's a lot that I didn't know. It's not even about childhood traumas or anything like that. This is simply just about things that I've experienced in my adulthood and just not knowing how to deal with it. And I think a lot of us as adults, there's a lot that we just don't understand, that we never had to face. Maybe sometimes it's again, bad breakups, deaths, loss of friends, losing your job, shifts in careers, all of that. Like, it's one thing for those things to happen to you, but if you don't know how to deal with it and you've never had to deal with it before, how are you supposed to know how to navigate that situation? Like, how are you supposed to know? Because I sure as shit didn't. And that was my problem. That was one of my biggest problems, that I thought I had it under control. I thought I knew what was good for me. I thought I knew how to deal, and I didn't. A lot of my coping mechanisms were really unhealthy. So I had to realize that. And sometimes facing those demons, it's a really shit thing to have to do, because a lot of that just involves you simply standing in front of a mirror and looking at yourself, and really looking at yourself and saying, okay, so this is where we're at. What are we going to do now? Because at the end of the day, it's just you. And I know we've talked about this before, right? No matter what situation you're in, no matter if you're dating someone, if you're married, whatever it is, single, of course, at the end of the day, you go to bed by yourself. You're in your own head. You're in your own body. Nobody's there. Even if you have somebody next to you, they're not in here, right? So you have to learn and understand how to manage all of this. And also here too, like, if you have to manage your heart, you have to manage your soul. What makes you feel a certain way? Because nobody else can do that. People can make you feel a certain way, right? But you're the only person that can take action upon that, to either let it affect you, or you can continue walking forward and things like that. So those types of tools are the tools that I've been learning. And I'm very thankful and very grateful to be in the position that I'm in, because I've learned quite a bit. And also with this platform and having jumped into this podcast, like, I guess you can say full time with you guys, it's been really helpful for myself. I know it's been helpful for other people, and I'm very, very like humbled by that. It's really wild when certain people reach out and they're like, hey dude, thank you for this. Like, you helped start a conversation that I needed to have with my partner, or you helped me have a conversation with myself that I was really not ready to have. And I ended up having it. And now here I am. And certain people have started therapy. Certain people have changed their ways of communication, things like that. And I'm not saying this show's like, oh my God, it's revolutionary, but just going through this process, the fact that it's helping me and it's helping other people is pretty incredible. It's very, very humbling, and I'm very appreciative. That's why I always tell you guys every week, thank you guys for your love. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for rocking with me, for staying here, for supporting me in every way that you can. Because the follows, the likes, the shares, the comments, all that stuff, it really does make a difference. And it helps, and again, I know I've talked about this before, but the interactions on TikTok is a trip, because those are complete strangers. The majority of the people that follow the Instagram for the podcast are people that I know. Like, it's very, very rare that I don't know the person that's following the podcast, unless it's like a friend of a friend or something like that. But even then, there's still some sort of connection. But on TikTok, it's completely random. We have full-on strangers that I'm sharing concepts with, that I'm just talking about random things for, let's say, a minute or so. And it's wild to have conversations with random people like that. But it seems like all of this is really doing something good. And I hope that I can continue this process, and that you guys will continue walking along with me, But jumping back with, again, going like with reflecting on the past year, just that whole section of my life has been very, 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 very impactful. I would say. And another thing that was really interesting was having to switch therapists in the middle of working through like a really tough issue. So my last therapist, which is funny, it's funny, not funny, but we were working on essentially like abandonment issues, because I do deal with that. I've dealt with it since I was a little kid, and coming into my adulthood, now I notice how certain things affect me, which is why like when certain people come into my life and then they just leave out of nowhere, that type of shit really bothers me. For a lot of people, they can deal with it and they're like, oh, well, fuck it. They're gone. They're gone. I don't really think about it that way, because I immediately take it like the utmost personal, because it's like, damn, they just left me. Like they just dipped out. Like, what the fuck did I do? And even if I didn't do anything wrong, I'll still ask myself. And even if I know 100% that I didn't do anything wrong, I will still ask myself, what did I do wrong? And right in the middle of working through these issues, my therapist dips out. Like, I forgot how many no call, no shows. I think he did 3 or 4, at least 3 for sure. Wasn't answering my messages or emails or anything like that. And then I had to switch therapists, which was like, I was really hesitant on doing so because I didn't want to start over and kind of go through this. But what I basically took it the same way with my new therapist as what I did with my past one, because I didn't start with like anything from my childhood or anything like that. I was just like, look, her name's Evely. I was like, Evely, can we work on right now? Like, there's some things that I'm dealing with right now. Like, I want to talk about this because this is what's affecting me. Stuff when I was a kid is not affecting me when I was 5, 7, 10 years old. None of that shit matters. This is what matters, right? Like, everything in my current life, this is what's up. So jumping back and diving into that with a new therapist, as scary as I thought it would be, it was kind of amazing, because that ended up being like a really, really eye-opening experience, because now I feel like I have a great therapist. My other therapist he was awesome too, but I mean, look at what ended up happening, right? And now I feel like I have somebody who is stable, who is understanding, who's also hard on me when she needs to be. And the fact that she breaks down certain things and certain issues, I'm like, wow, man, it was the worst thing that could have happened, like being abandoned by my therapist, but also for somebody else to come in and pick up the pieces the way that Evely has. I'm very thankful. So it's like, okay, cool. It just adds to the trials and tribulations of last year. But ultimately, I think despite everything that's happened, it's like, this is where I ended up. And I feel good about that. I do. And I'm really excited for the progress over the next year. I mean, I don't know if who knows how much longer I'll be in therapy. I don't know. Because I don't think you should plan on doing it for the rest of your life, right? Like, I think it's important to get tools and to do certain things and do it for a certain amount of time. And then when you feel that you're ready, sometimes you need to just take a step back and say, okay, let's see how I can navigate. And if you need to go back, you go back. But I know for myself, I don't want to rely on this for the rest of my life. I want to have it as a tool and understand that, just like with my garage, all the tools that I have, I might not use all those tools all the time, but when I need them, they're there. And that's essentially, for myself, that's the way I view therapy, is it's another tool that gets added to your toolbox. And you might not need it all the time. You might be using it for a certain period of time to do certain jobs, get through certain things, but then you can put it away for a while, and it doesn't, there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. It's okay to come back and dip out and come back and dip out, because life is like that. There's nothing really linear about life. There's nothing that's super consistent about that. So if you looked at therapy that way, I think it's very helpful, because you can come in and out, you can go up and down, and it's okay, So with that past year, or with like 2023, I think that's one of the biggest things, one of my biggest takeaways, is just having started my mental health journey, and that I've taken that walk down that path and gone through therapy, and I still continue to do it, and that I'm going through all the self-work, and I'm still continuing to do it and seek out and watch all these videos and read these things and check out these books and so on and so forth, because that journey is something I never want to let go of. I never want to stop working on myself. I want to be a better person for myself, for the people around me, for my friends, for my family, for my partner at some point. I want to be the best version that I can be. And speaking of being the best version of myself that I can be, what another thing that I was realizing from 23 was just like people coming and going, because there was a lot of in and outs from people as well, and like family, friends, death, all of that, kind of experiencing this like hopscotch was pretty nuts. And I feel like a lot of people were kind of going through similar things where they're experiencing that whole hopscotching, where it's like people were coming in and out. And it's like, well, who's gonna stay? And it was just, I felt like I was constantly throughout the year trying to gain a sense of sustainability, trying to gain some sort of ground to walk on, find a ground to walk on, because I couldn't for the longest time. And I still feel like I'm getting my footing, but I'm a little bit better now than I was then. And on that same note too, I was really hoping that the year would end on like a little more of a peaceful note. But it's like, man, I had to get one more sprinkle of chaos. You know, a friend of mine reached out to me, and essentially she might be facing like a really difficult medical issue. And I'm like, God damn it, dude. You know what I mean? Like, when she told me, she's like, look, I don't want to drop this on you, but also this is happening. And I'm like, okay, well, what do we got to do? What do I got to do? What do you need from me? What's up? And from that point forward, I was just like, okay, this is what's going on, right? And we're still carrying this into this new year. And I really hope that things work out for her, because I'm here to support her, her family, you know, everybody. That's what I'm here for. And I know with everything that I've gone through, that my family's gone through, that the people around me have gone through, it's like sometimes you just need that. It's nice to know that someone's going to be there for you regardless. Like if you call, you're going to answer the phone, because we need that. We need to build our support systems, right? The same way that we talk about on the show. Build your circles. Build your circles, because there's going to come a point in your life. It doesn't always have to be bad things, right? But you need people that you can call upon, that you can trust, that are really going to have your back. If you fall down, they're going to help you get up. Not just people like, oh, yeah, that's my homie. He's down. You call them, nowhere to be found. Where you guys at? Where you been? Where were you when I needed you? Right? So coming into this new year, I know that's one thing I'm really trying to be hyper aware of, is just kind of continuously narrowing down my circle of people. And as just continue making it smaller, tighter, like closer knit, because that's what matters. That's what matters for sure. And I know another one too that I was really heavy in reflection with, and I was talking about with Albert specifically, was finding what makes me happy and continuing on that journey. Like to seek and adjust what those things are, because I know as the year was coming to an end, I just, a lot of that's changed, right? And I know I've talked about that multiple times with you guys. A lot of it's changed. I don't know. There's certain moments I don't know what makes me happy anymore. I don't know who makes me happy anymore. But I think as long as I can continue being aware and just vigilant to that eventually I will land myself in a place that I know what's going on, and that I'm aware of what makes me happy, and then continuing to find and chase those little slivers of light, whether it's going to eat certain foods or being around certain people or going to certain places or just doing activities that I really enjoy, whether it's going up to the mountains or going to the beach, and just staying in those moments to realize that, like when I have those realizations, when I'm at those places or in those moments, to be like, this right now, this exact moment, what my heart feels, what my soul feels, this is what I got to put away, so that when I need it, I can come exactly to this place and feel this way. And I know I also want to make it a point to make more time for the people that I love and care for, because there are certain people I know that I've definitely dropped the ball. I haven't really checked in as much, or I haven't seen them as much as I probably should. And I want to shift that up this year, because I always have a lot going on. Like I am very busy, and I try to, as much as I try to not be, there's always something going on, whether it's like with family, whether it's with myself, whether it's with my work, something. there's always something going on. Like it never fails. So like, it's being able to carve out the time for the right people. And I know, especially in the last weeks too, certain people have really they've made the effort to stay in my life and to be in my life. And I'm like, and of course I do the same thing. I return that just as much. But it's what's really nice is seeing the people that realize when I'm carving out time for them, or I make time for them, or whether it's FaceTimes or anything, that they are realizing that too. Because I feel like the people in your life that care about you, they're going to let you know in some way, shape, or form. They're going to show you, they're going to express it in some way. And I know we are constantly kind of chasing that, right? When we show love to people, we always want to feel that love back. We want it shown to us the same way, right? But with something I know I've talked about before, I mentioned it because Izzy had told me this a long time ago. And it was that we can't expect ourselves of other people. And I've also had to sit with that too. I've had to sit with that a lot recently, that I can't expect myself of other people, whether it's the way that I treat them, whether it's the way that I make them feel, anything like that. I can't expect other people to make me feel the way that I make them feel. I still, with all of that being said, it's like I still need to make time for certain people, to allow more love, more light, more positivity into my life, because I seem to be, sometimes I allow my time and my love and my everything to be consumed by other things that don't bring me joy or happiness, or that start out one way that is positive and then end on a negative note. And I'm like, man, I should have known. So it's kind of removing me from those situations. Like, remove yourself from the should have knowns, because you already know what's going to happen. So slowly back away. Because if you know how something's going to end, it's like, nah, put yourself in a good place that will have a positive start, positive end, that feeds your soul, feeds your mind, feeds your body, your heart, every good part of you. That's what I want to feed into more, and be hyper aware of that, so I can constantly give myself what I need and be selfish, just be super selfish. So this year, I want to focus on that. I want it to be about myself, my happiness, my love, my heart, my soul, my body, my brain, everything. I need to give myself good things. I need to be that advocate for myself. I need to speak up for myself and say, you know what? This isn't good. I don't want this. I need this. I want this. I want to smile more. I want to be happy. I don't want to be locked up and crying and constantly sad. I don't want that. So, okay, what do I got to do? Make more time for certain things, people, places, things, whatever, anything like that. But that it is something good and it brings light. And with all of that too, I think one of the other big shifts that I've experienced is kind of finding a new path for my career and my media creation, because I was so dead set on something, on a certain trajectory for my career. And I remember talking about it with one of my mentors, Michael Stinson. And he, I think with most of us, when you go to college, you always have a certain professor or a certain person that you will lean towards, and they ask you, so what's up? What's your plan, right? So I had a lot of those types of conversations with him. And I was very thankful to have the relationship that I did with him, because it made me think a lot and it pushed me really hard. And I think now with where I ended up, I realize that it's okay to change, because maybe I don't want to be this person in the design world anymore. Do I love design? Of course. It's my entire life. Art is a massive part of my life. It's everything that I do. Between art and cars, it's like, God, those two things, those are like my ruling planets, But I had this idea for where I wanted to be, where I wanted to go, how I wanted to navigate my life as a designer. And I've come to, again, realize that all of that is changing, and nothing's what I thought it was going to be. Nothing's what I thought it was. A lot of veils were removed, and I was able to see certain things of the industries. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want this. This isn't sustainable in any way, shape, or form. Like, I want to live happy. I want to be happy. And if I'm in this place, it's not going to get me there. So with my career path, I've taken a shift. leaving corporate, starting my own business, trying to get out on my own has been really, really tough. It's been the hardest thing possible. Finding clients is dude, it's whack. It's really, really whack. It's a struggle. But at the same time, I get these glimpses of light with what I'm doing, and I'm like, ooh, I gotta keep going. Like as of recent, I've jumped really heavy into like my image creation as far as like video, as far as photo, and the reception of those things and the realm that I'm in is reassuring me to continue pushing down that path. And that's what I need, right? And that's what I was just talking to you guys. I need to be hyper aware of what that is and what those things are that bring me that happiness, which is why, like on Monday, at first I wasn't going to do anything on Monday. On the first, I was just going to chill. I said, New Year's Day, I'm not going to do nothing. So just relax. But when I got that call and I said, you know what? Get up and go, because you love this and it makes you happy and this is where you're at and this is what you want to do with your life. So go. Someone's giving you an opportunity. Run it up and go. And I'm glad that I did. Because again, I was able to go and make myself happy. I was able to start the year with a smile, with my camera in my hand, creating. Because that's what I want for this next year. I want to create stuff in every way that I can, whether it's with my hands, whether it's with my camera, with anything. I want to create. I want this to be a year full of just making everything, making art, making happiness, making more moments of love, of joy. I just want to make everything that I can. And I want the people around me to experience that as well. But for myself, again, this type of shift in my career is really getting me to open my eyes up a little bit, because I had my blinders on and I was going down a certain path because I said, this is the only path. This is what I want to do. So where I want to go. But during that, I guess, that certain process of kind of moving, and one of my blinds kind of came off on one side, I started to look a little bit and said, ooh, you know what? Hold on. There's this other path that I might want to explore. And I'm glad that I did that, because again, it's changing things up. It's scary, yeah, because now I'm kind of like, well, shit, where am I at? What am I doing? But I don't always have to know where I'm at and what I'm doing. But if there's something positive coming from where I am, that's where I need to stay. That's what I need to listen to. And even if it's different, even if I didn't think about it like that, I didn't think I would fall into this sector. And now that I have, it's where I feel at home. It's where I feel the most love. It's where I feel the most sense of family, most sense of accomplishment. And I love that. I love that for me, honestly. And it's nice to say that. Because you know how you hear people say oh yeah, I was doing this, I went to go eat this. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I love that for you. But it's nice to be able to tell yourself that, to experience something of that nature and say, you know what? I love this for me. To look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love that for you. Right? How rare is that nowadays? I feel like we don't get too many opportunities that way to experience those types of things, those epiphanies, you could say. Where you can turn around and say, I love this for me. And just bask in it. Let that light hit you and say, yes, this is for me. It's for me and only me. It's from my heart. It's from my soul. It makes me feel good. And again, that's what I'm seeking. So as much as I was reflecting on the past year, it made me very grateful. Despite all the pain, despite all the loss, despite everything that was experienced in every way, shape, and form, I'm very thankful and blessed in so many ways to be where I am right now, and to even be talking with you guys here and on this platform, that I get to use something of this nature that helps me, that can help other people, and that we can all just kind of walk together along this path. And I had somebody ask me on Monday, a friend of mine, he's like, yo, so what's your New Year's resolution? What's up with that? And I was like, you know what? To be 100% honest with you, dude, I was like, fuck a New Year's resolution. If you want to make a change, you just start right now. You should have started back then. And I know for myself, that's what I told myself this year. I said, I'm not doing no resolutions. I'm not doing that anymore. If I want to make a change, I'm going to do it in the moment that I say I need to do it. Right? It's not, oh, I'll do that next year. No. Why? Do it right now. What's the difference? All you're going to do is get ahead on whatever it is that you're trying to do. Why would you say, oh, I'm going to start that next week? No. Start it right now. Start it right now. Oh, I can't because I'm tired. Oh, I can't because this is that and the third. So you don't really want it that bad. You don't want the change that bad. You don't want whatever it is that you're thinking that you want. It's not that important. Because if it was, you'd make the shift happen. ASAP. Yesterday. 2 days ago. Whatever the fuck it is. You would have been doing it already. And as much as I don't want to do something sometimes, this is where I'm at. And I got to push myself. You got to push yourself. That's what the work is all about. That's what the work is all about. That's what the time is all about. It's about investing in yourself. And investments aren't always easy. So I think when people talk about New Year's resolutions, it's like everybody jumps to that. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to be more active. I want to do that. Oh, I'll start next week. No. Start right now. You want to be more active? Go on a walk when you get home from work. Oh, it's cold. Put a sweater on. There you go. You start your little 5-10 minute walks a day. Being more active. You took a small step. You went from doing little 5-minute walks. Next thing you know, you're doing all these hikes in the canyons. You're out there for an hour or 2 hours doing a couple miles. There you go. You took steps. You made it happen. You want to eat healthier? Start eating healthier. Oh, I'll start tomorrow. Why? Start right now. Look for a different option. See what's up. Get something grilled instead of something fried, right? Like it's taking those steps. And why would you push things out further when you can take the steps right now to make shit happen? So I know for myself, again, I got to just keep doing that. If I want to keep creating content, I want to keep doing stuff. And even if I don't feel like it that day, I don't want to get up. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to talk to people. I got to do it. I got to charge up my batteries, throw them in the camera, run out. Let's go take some videos, take some photos. Let's go do some stuff. Let's make some memories. Let's make some memories. Let's create something that I can share with the people that I care about. That I can share with the world and say, hey, look, this is how I see stuff. I just wanted to show you guys. I'm not looking for other people's approval. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for the likes. I don't care about the follows. I don't care about any of that stuff. I don't. All I want to do is create stuff for me that makes me happy, that makes me feel accomplished and feel good. As I remembered that going through school is that ultimately, if I wasn't proud of my own work, there was no way that anybody else was going to be proud of it. Because if I couldn't walk up in front of this class, in front of these people, present it to 40, 50 people and be confident about what I was presenting, nobody was going to care about it. Nobody was going to be confident about that. Because I'm not confident about it. I didn't feel it. I didn't love it. So ultimately, I knew that if I cared about what I was doing, nothing else matters. So my 24 is, I want to focus on myself, focus on my happiness, and put all the love and energy that I can into that. And I know a lot of the people around me are in the same boat. I know Albert's trying to do the same thing. He's trying to push up. He's trying to do different things and dabble and try and explore. And I'm proud of him for doing that. And same thing with Jay. I know Jay's trying to make moves and trying to do certain things and figure stuff out. Sabrina's in the same boat. Like we're all of us. Yesy, everybody around me. Because my circle, we keep tight like that, right? And again, I'm very thankful to have them. But we keep tight. We keep the conversations open. And what we're trying to do, what moves we're trying to make. Let's see what's up. How can we help each other get to certain places, do certain things? That's what this is about. This year, I want it to be a selfish year. And I want it to be selfish for the homies around me too, because I want them to work on themselves and push themselves forward to propel to a place they never thought they'd get to. And it's about taking the steps right now, no matter how big, no matter how small, And I know every episode, right? We close out with some sort of advice or some sort of wisdom or something like that. And I was really trying to get into it and think since last week's episode, right? Just as I was just talking with Kay and conversations that came after that, I said, man, what am I trying to start the year with? What's going to be good for next week? And as I was going through the weekend, I said, I got it. And my bit of advice is, don't fake the funk. Like, just don't fake the funk. Be who you are instead of creating an illusion of who you are. Because that's what's going to take you somewhere, right? You have all these people out here acting some sort of way, trying to be some sort of way, but that's not them. And when push comes to shove, they can't maintain that image. They can't do that. They can't make you feel that way. They can't seem that sort of way 24/7, 365. Like, because that's not who they are. That's faking the funk right there. Don't do that. Don't do that. So don't fake the funk. Be who you are. Don't create an illusion of who you are. Be your true self with people. Because that's not something you have to worry about. Right? Like, if people don't accept that, fuck them. They don't accept you, fuck them. They don't accept what you bring to the table, fuck them. That's a them problem. That's not a you problem. Be true. Stay authentic to yourself, to your true self, to your heart, your soul, your mind, your body, everything. You put out that version of yourself, I promise you, the people that are going to see that and that will radiate towards you and that will just be pulled into your gravity are the people that you want and that you need. And more so what you need. Because sometimes people dip out, right? Like I was talking about earlier, the coming and the going. That's inevitable. But the people who are drawn towards you because of who you are, that's power. That's power because you brought somebody, you pulled somebody in. You had that magnet inside you for that person, and it's something good. That person's going to take you somewhere, right? Because they want to be on the team. They said, "Ooh, that there's something about that. I like it. What's up? I'm here." And that's what this life's all about. We gotta attract and bring in something that's positive. Be that light for yourself. Be that light for other people. But you're not going to get there by faking the funk. So remember that. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in to this first episode of 2024. And honestly, I'm so excited for everything that's to come. All the guests that are booked, everything that's going to be unfolding for this year. I can't wait to go on this journey with you guys. And please, again, if there's certain topics or certain things, questions you want me to cover, stuff you just want me to talk about, holler at me, shoot me a DM, a text, call me, whatever. However you want to get a hold of me, whether it's on my personal page, on the podcast page, however, if there's something that you're passionate about, that you want me to talk about, you want me to cover, you want my opinion on, holler at me. Let me know what's up. But again, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I wish you guys nothing but the best for this year. And I will catch you guys on the next one.